And people might not see it at first, especially in the younger years, or when everything is great, everything's exciting and everything. But if you're always on that fire and you never stop, or you don't balance it, and sometimes find that then actually that fire becomes quite detrimental, and it starts burning a lot of stuff. So useful as well in the food to really eat, for example, fresh fruits, fresh salad, fresh juices.
We're live again for another episode of HR Shouts and Whispers. Siyempre, we are at episode number 99. Wow, 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 wow. Solid, solid. Our topic for tonight, super, super. This is one of the topics that I really love to hear about. It is stress management techniques. Right, siyempre, my name is Ken Somera, and our main host, Cristina Reclamado. Hi, Chris.
Yes,
Long
hi Ken. Hi everyone. And
time.
we have here a guest, okay, but before the topic, okay. So you know that during the week people have been talking about the ECQ. There's another round of ECQ again. That's part 3. So it can be a little bit stressful now, I think. So and then we have a lot of like talks about it. So actually if you ask me, I have not been really immersing myself in reading my Facebook feeds because I don't want to talk about rants, etc. But anyway, we're welcoming, okay, fresh, okay, I think fresh from somewhere. We have Luigi. We're admitting him in the room. So, hi, Luigi.
Hello, hello. Good evening.
Yes. So, thank you, Luigi. Okay. So, our guest is the co-founder and also a facilitator at Mindfulness at Play. So I met him through LinkedIn, and that's no other than Patrice. Hi, Patrice.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you very much, Christina.
Yes, and of course we have a guest. One, well, actually, she's been PMing us. Okay, but I promise we will not talk about HR. That's Michelle. Okay, so let's just
Well,
call her Michelle. So she's
So
one
good
of the
evening.
yeah, she's one of the HR members of HR Shouts and Whispers.
mm,
And because I promised her she will learn stress management techniques this evening. So she went in the room. Okay, so there. So anyhow, okay, so hi Luigi, how was your weekend?
Oh, it was great. So there's a lot of new businesses that I'm putting up. So yeah, it's fun.
So it's fun. So anyhow, okay, so we will talk about, okay, so let's just get to know more about, okay, mindfulness at play. So Patrice, can you tell us more about mindfulness at play?
Sure. And are you okay if we begin with a short centering exercise, just to bring everyone present, not just participating now, but also anyone who might be connecting on Facebook, and of course watching the replay afterward. Are you okay with
Sure.
that, all of us?
Sure.
Yes. Thank you.
Sure.
And again, thank you for being here. And also for those who wish to have your camera on, because it's always a good way, especially it's something we invite in all our trainings and sessions in the first minute, to just make sure that everyone has their cameras switched on. It's just a good reminder, because we tend to connect a lot now online. So it has this, many benefits, but we're also forgetting that we're connecting to people, and we're just jumping from one meeting to another. And so in this case, we all have our cameras on, just looking at everyone. It's a nice way to acknowledge everyone's presence. And I'll also invite you to make sure that you're on your chair, you're sitting upright, so your back is straight, both feet are flat on the floor, and you can rest your hands on your legs. That's going to help as well, especially in longer exercise. This one is not long, but in longer exercise, it's a good way to also, help maintain very naturally, effortlessly the body straight, so that the energy flows properly, and also our breath. We can reopen our breathing and take our time. So I'll invite you, make sure that your shoulders are down, comfortable, your neck is aligned. When you found that, the right position, that comfortable position for you, close your eyes. And let's just, for 1-2 minutes, let's just focus on breathing. So very gently, just like in all our practices, we are inviting the mind to just focus on one task. And every time you'll notice distractions, whether it's, external sounds or thoughts flowing through, or maybe sometimes when you're carrying a lot, feelings, emotions also flowing through, notice them, but don't give them any kind of a story, narrative. Just go back to the breath. So let's do this for 1 more minute. And observing yourself breathing in and out. And if it feels natural to slow down your breath and to take in more air, and especially oxygen, then really do so. Follow that body intelligence. Just allowing ourselves to be here, fully present in our body, in this moment now. Again, on the weekend, it might be a bit easier, but we all know that on weekdays, work days, we tend to really do a lot of things and jump from one task to another. So even when we have meetings, we're not fully present. So that's a wonderful way to start the meeting. That's the first technique I would like to, very short centering practice I'd like to share with you. And what is beneficial as well is to notice how you feel before. And are you sensing, feeling, observing, noticing any kind of changes after? Every time you're doing a small, break, practice, whatever it is. So slowly open your eyes and come back. So thank you. I'm sorry I interrupted you, Cristina.
Well, I was like relaxing.
Thank you. Okay. And was it easy also to slow down?
Well, I think I needed something because I had a busy week.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to share how you feel before and after? Just after 2-3 minutes. Very simple. Nothing.
Yeah, it's lighter. It's lighter. The feeling is
It's relaxing.
very relaxing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's clearer now.
Wow, nice.
Yep.
And all these are really important, because these are actually, this is something we really invite throughout all the trainings, programs, whatever the topics. They don't always include, physical, but these are the foundational: physical, the breathing, the reconnecting with the body. But what happens is very often people will share this lighter, clarity, and suddenly feeling, calmer and also stronger, centered, also more present. And also something that comes often, especially with a bit longer exercise, and we'll do one later, restorative, energized. So a lot of people are discovering that when they stop regularly, which is something we invite everyone to do and to feel really comfortable about, not to feel guilty or, what's the purpose? I don't have time for this. When we slow down regularly with intention, with a, specific practice in mind, with kind of a goal, because the goal is also useful for the mind. The mind needs to be, kept busy. But there are ways to slow it down very usefully. and to help it actually restore and continue the day actually even better, even more effective. So I'm sorry, that's a long introduction.
Well, anyhow, Patrice, so that was like a good first activity for us this evening. Okay, so that people are will have like an introduction or a something visual or something an exercise, okay, to represent what mindfulness at play does. Okay, so can you answer now the hanging question? What is mindfulness at play?
So it's a very simple initiative, and for the moment, it's small. We are two consultants, but we really enjoy what we're doing. We created Mindfulness at Play in 2017. So we both Kay and I are independent consultants, and for us, mindfulness, well-being, self-care, understanding ourselves also on a more holistic level, really being able to become the observer as well of the mind, of our emotions, of our level of overall energy, socially as well, naturally in our interaction with life and others, very important. It's really something that is a part of our own journey. So Kay has been offering and teaching this since many, many years, and she was a former psychology professor at UP. And me, until 11, 12 years ago, I was more in the corporate life. And when I moved in the Philippines, I really began something that is not necessarily related to the country, but because it was a change of setting, I really began a very deep meditation, self-inquiry, mindfulness, of course, is a big part, practice and personal journey. So that's how we started in 2017. So we wanted to offer something to the corporate life, not the usual trainings that are very useful and beneficial, but something where actually people would be allowed to work on their core self, core skills that we all possess. And this is something, of course, we can go deeper and talk about what mindfulness is afterwards.
Well, where are you right now? I'm actually here in Taguig, but where are you right now?
In Makati.
In Makati. So what? So have you been? How long have you been here in the Philippines? And well, when we had a conversation, our first conversation. So how is the stress level here in Manila?
So as a permanent resident since 2010 for myself, and of course, Kay is from the Philippines. She is more from QC, and moving here was a personal choice. I must say that it was also a discovery to be in one of these mega cities, basically with over 10 million, 20 million people, and since of course we have this period that we're all experiencing again as one experience that's happening globally, entire humanity is really impacted on all levels, as we all know, personally and around us. We see it for many others around us. The city has become actually much quieter and more fluid, and the air is even of 10 times better quality. And actually, in that sense, it's unfortunately a bit of an improvement because for me, having the opportunity to live in so many different places in Europe, in the US, and visiting also so many countries and cities around the world, Manila is one of the most stressful, polluted, and challenging cities I've not the most, but one of the most, definitely. And this has a great impact on people. And this has, unfortunately, a great impact on health, on happiness, on quality of life, and even on the economy. It's when a city doesn't flow properly, the economy is greatly impacted. And Manila, we all know, is quite a special, challenging environment, especially for the many, the majority who has to commute every day. So for us, stress was actually it was part of the first trainings we started offering in 2017, 18 with well-known organizations. Stress reduction was really one of the first one we began offering.
So these organizations, okay, so when you talk to their HR, what's the first question they ask you?
Um, is it going to be another lecture?
Yes, actually.
And for me, it's fabulous because again, I really wanted to offer something, both Kay and I, something very experiential. So of course, until the beginning of last year, we were offering our trainings in physical groups of never more than 30 people, however big the company was. So so that allowed as well for more interaction, shares, because I've noticed, especially with bigger groups, and it's natural, people become extremely shy, and it's unfortunate because often we get to miss out on that. So definitely something very experiential. So pretty much 50% of our sessions, again, whatever the topic, and we cover many, are techniques, exercises, practices that we get to do together during the session. And then we often review them, and afterwards, people are offered resources to really begin their own practices. Because the idea is not to stay stuck with us. The idea is really to, for those who feel now is the right time to actually bring some beneficial changes. That's why we really insist on the practice.
So this one, it's not like somebody or you or Kay, your co-founder, talking, but they would actually do the exercises.
Yes. And now that we're all, for the moment, offering it online. So when we connect with organizations, we don't have this limit of group anymore. That means we offer the same trainings to an unlimited number of participants. But we still invite strongly, and very kindly people to participate in the comments, on audio. Absolutely, as much as possible.
Well, so anyway, we have our guests, also our panelists here. So why don't we ask Michelle how she felt doing the exercise? So Michelle, how was your feeling when you were doing the grounding exercise at the start of this FB Live?
Well, at first when we're doing it, you're just trying. You're kind of realizing yung or what is what are the things that stress you out about this day. But after the exercise, Patrice um, instructed us. I felt like I just woke up in the morning
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
for quite some time, something like
Nice.
that. So for me, it's kind of relaxing, and you're you have more focus there.
Nice. Nice. And you really felt it. It's obvious. And also something interesting is that we have become so caught up in the head, and we are doing, and we're multitasking. And now we're addicted to these devices, that we have no more time to slow down, to train our brains to become calmer, clearer, as Luigi was very rightfully sharing. We're not also able to reflect enough on how we feel, and first of all, really acknowledge, how am I doing? Something also I would like to offer people is a very simple practice, is throughout the day, really ask yourself, how am I doing? How am I doing right now? Another question you need to ask yourself very often, and especially when you're interacting with people, and if you're noticing, you're just being very honest. So you're using your mindfulness skill to just observe very gently, very kindly, and notice, what are you doing? Where is my attention right now? That's absolutely a key question to ask ourselves regularly. And again, it's not about beating ourselves up. It's not about, adding more criticism. There's already enough of that, or judgment. No, it's about noticing how often we are really doing things kind of mechanically, as a default mode, or how often we are really fully engaged in what we're doing. And it changes completely the quality of the experience. And especially for all of us, who are working and connecting with others, when we are really asking ourselves that very often, where is my mind right now? Where is my attention? So, inwardly, even as I'm discussing with you, am I really with you? Or while I'm with you, I'm also thinking of something else? And it's not about, again, being critical or, letting others know what you're doing, but just being, and then you bring back your attention fully to the other person online, or of course in real life, to the one conversation instead of five you're having maybe on social media because you need to finish up this conversation. Naturally, to the task. And this is something we really insist, especially now that people are really working from home. Self-regulation has become one of the key issues, and organizing myself in a way that I'm very effective, but I'm also keeping happy and engaged, and I'm not too drained because now I'm so connected that, boundaries have become a bit blurred. So sorry again, long answer, but I hope it
Well,
helps.
we like long answers because we're trying to try to understand what's happening. Like especially those, you're correct, when you are working from home. There should be a boundary, but I think the boundary has blurred because, like, well, I always try to say I have to stop working by 4, but then it spills over until 6. And then today I still work. Before this FB live, I was still working. So because I'm catching up, because there's something with the chatting online that actually disturbs your flow of thought, or the flow of your own work.
So it's really, and of course, it's not at all something we discovered. It's very well known. It is extremely beneficial to, if we feel that because we have that natural tendency of, checking our screen very often, did I get a new like, new notification, blah, blah, blah. It's very, very beneficial to put away the phone and just remain on that one task, that important task you're on right now. Same thing with your computer. If you can monitor, the kind of notifications and reduce the amount of notifications and stay on full screen, whatever you're doing. And we really invite people to unplug often, which is kind of strange right now because we've never been so connected. And it's extremely beneficial and useful, but we're connected too much. We're spending way too much time online, and that's not healthy as well it's not actually healthy for the body to be connected so online, and it's not healthy for the mind, mental health. And I'm glad because already in 2017 we saw suddenly, especially in Manila, a great awareness and campaigns for mental health, mental health, mental health. Yeah, because actually more and more people are really getting damaged on a mental level, and they're sad and they're becoming depressed and they feel overwhelmed and they feel drained, and they continue and they continue and they push, push, push. No, 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 no. It doesn't work that way. No, no, no. Especially if we want to help the mind, it doesn't work that way.
But Patrice, there are two people here who actually are chill masters. I think chill is there a term?
Nice.
Chill masters. You have Luigi and Ken. Why don't we ask them? Okay, what's your secret?
Chill masters. Wow.
I think I just invented
Yeah.
something. Sorry.
Yeah, well, what's the secret for being chill?
Hmm.
Well, it's more of you get to, as Patrice was saying. I mean, disconnect. Um, a lot of society has taught us to connect and connect, to connect and to connect. Up till when? Up till when? We only have like a limit. Like, imagine this: you have a limited source of energy for the day. Where do you spend your energy? Where do you put your attention? Right. So again, it was really nice to hear. Where you focus your attention, that's you focus on that one task. It gets done. Right. One thing that we lack nowadays is attention. It's also focus. So if we could if we could actually get to manage that better, we could recharge faster, and we could help. We're in an industry that we need to help other people, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, the most important thing is you help yourself first. So yeah, so that's where I could say that some people would say that I'm chill, or just I'm just going with the flow, because it's just how it is. I mean, I don't need to stress myself with um, problems of other people. I need to sort things out first before I could help other people. That's how I go. So yeah,
How
their
about you,
problem, not mine.
Richie? Yeah. Well, Kaku.
So
Yeah.
with what Ken said, I'll back that up. It's very important where your attention is. So like with me, it's more of not disconnecting, but more connecting to what's important. So first, you have to know which do you want to focus on. Like if it's stress, if you're looking at stress, you will see stress. It's a basic thing. So like I tell people that what you're looking at is what you're seeing. So if you don't want to be stressed, then don't look at stress. If you want to have a good day, then look at good things. So with this, I'm a sort of master in cutting things that are negative. So like I'm just easily cut them. So if it's a person, an event, or anything that just drains me, I just cut it. So that's how I keep on a limit in a manageable way those stress. So that's how I like manage my day.
So I think, Michelle, you should hire more good-looking people. So sorry. No, I'm just kidding. It's just a joke. Okay. So how about, so Patrice, like for HR people, okay, what can you advise them? Okay, so actually it's a very stressful job. So they are talking to a lot of people, and they're also facing the management. Okay, so they're sandwiched in between. So what can you say? How should they reduce their stress?
However, as a human being, and both actually Ken and Luigi mentioned it, especially Ken, you've chosen a role and a function that is very special, and it's not always the easiest because I've met many HR who are caught up, between the company goals and taking good care of the people and making sure that everyone's engaged and happy at the same time and finding wellness, well-being, and purpose. So it's not an easy role because it's part of an ecosystem and a context and bigger picture, other goals. However, as an individual, since you are very much here for others, and taking often taking really good care of others, especially in learning, development, training. It is absolutely essential to walk the talk and to take good care of yourselves. And the two pillars actually that we have in our practices, one of them is self-care. And when I ask people, and I'm going to ask everyone present tonight, spontaneously, you can close your eyes or not, but spontaneously imagine just like that, within the next 5 seconds, and please don't overthink it. Who's the most important person in your life? Can you share with me? Is there a name, a face, image of someone that came out? And what I'm interested in is among you who actually immediately said, "Well, me."
Well, I did say that myself.
Wow. And okay, who else? Anyone else? Or spontaneously, a parent, a child, your partner, a pet
Well,
that you
for me, it
love.
was someone else.
Okay. And it's very relevant. And I understand you. So we're not here to discuss, the relevance of this.
Yeah.
However, when we start looking at self-care practices, genuine transformative well-being practices, stress reduction practices, we constantly remind people that if they don't begin with themselves, and if they always stay stuck in the mind, asking basically the agitated, sometimes overwhelmed, sometimes monkey mind, sometimes so drained that the mind doesn't see things clearly anymore. If we constantly ask the mind to be the one to find solutions to stress, it's not going to work. So we need to, and this is where I come in the practices. So we, as suggestions, and of course, we go deeply in the different trainings, more deeply, but we remind people that we need all of us to go back to the basics. And the basics are sleeping well, getting proper rest, and I really insist on that, getting really proper rest, and making sure that before you're sleeping, especially for those who are experiencing, agitated, difficult sleep patterns, you need to unplug again from these devices and the blue light and whatever. You need to unplug from these devices at least 1 or 2 hours before sleeping. And instead, just get a good book, listen to soothing music, engage maybe in a nice conversation with the people you're sharing space with. Slow down, or if you enjoy meditation, breathing practices, a nice form of yoga that is not activating you, but that is actually preparing the body for the night, wonderful. Food is actually diet. What we eat has a great impact on our level of stress and our level of energy and this is something that I really discovered more when I was traveling in India. And I just, spent a few weeks during different trips doing some Ayurvedic treatments and just looking at the surface, because it's a very ancient form of medicine, just like Chinese medicine, very intelligent forms of medicine who really look at the body, the way we live, so our social life, the way we interact with others, and it really takes everything into account to promote greater health, being stronger, being more rested, taking care of the mind, especially when the mind is very fiery and agitated. So food is very important, and this is something, of course, we can talk about just a little bit tonight. I'm not an expert, but it's something that I am applying to myself and that I've been really looking at. Exercising is absolutely key, even though we're at home. So for those who really feel that it's so scary, they don't want to go out, I respect that. I'm not one of those. I've been going out absolutely daily and getting some sunlight and getting some fresh air, especially a lot of oxygen, which is very restorative and very helpful for the body and the immune system. But exercising is absolutely important. So if you feel that you've kind of let down a bit your body, and you're not feeling good, you're not feeling well about it and everything, it's really a good time to, even if you're at home, you need to have a daily physical practice, because that stress, that tension, and a lot of things that have been stored in the body are still there, and they accumulate over the years. And it's something we constantly remind about. Stress is not the issue, because we all know that stress is a natural aspect of life. And when our body actually becomes stressed often, or very reactive or alert, it's actually a protection mechanism. It's a survival mechanism. And there's even kind of the good stress. And I am sure Luigi, for example, can relate to that, because you seem very dynamic and you're, engaged in what you do as well. So there's a very good level of stress that keeps us going and happy and engaged, and sometimes blissed out, because it's very rewarding personally, professionally, whatever the reasons. But the accumulation of chronic and episodic, so the one that comes with the everyday life, but the chronic one is the one that often accumulates when we haven't. So this is something I understand I think I understand what you mean by that, Luigi, when you say, no, I'm not looking at it. And basically what I'm doing is I'm focusing on more, because otherwise I'm going to recreate more. And I get that. That's very true. However, we need to acknowledge, because we're not all wired the same way. Our lives are, very different. We need to acknowledge in the most gentle, caring, patient way, just like we're doing with the people we love the most. We need to acknowledge the level of stress, especially the chronic one, the one that comes regularly and that grinds us and accumulate. We need to acknowledge it regularly. And a great way to do it is to stop. That's a wonderful technique we can do together now. We stop. So 1 minute practice, stop. Literally, S for stop. Whatever you're doing, drop everything. Take a breath. Nice, long, deep breath. And you can close your eyes. Often it helps, because it's a good way to go within and to kind of shut ourselves a bit from, people, whatever is distracting us around us. And then the O is for observe. So notice, observe what's going on. So wonderful way to actually tune again, connect with the body. Very important, because the body is constantly telling us, I feel lighter, I feel more tension, I feel pain sometimes because stress, or certain areas that I haven't been looking at or have been accumulating that pain and the tension. And then, of course, just after 1 minute, then we proceed and we continue. So stop is a wonderful also technique to just take regular breaks. So yeah, exercising, food, resting well, and definitely, just like we're taking care of our body on a daily basis, eating well, exercising for those who enjoy that, of course, resting, showering, brushing our teeth. Most of us, wouldn't even imagine of not doing that at least once a day. That would be absolute madness. We need to have exercises to calm down and strengthen the brain. And scientists agree now that we have thousands and thousands, especially since 30, 40 years, of amazing studies, and they're getting more and more refined. Meditation, and there are so many kinds of meditation. The very simple breathing exercise we did at the beginning is a form of meditation, just focusing on the breath. And every time you notice that your mind is wandering, come back to the breath, and use it as an anchor practice. Just that is probably one of the most powerful practices. Meditation is the number one exercise for the brain.
So Patrice, okay, anyway, there's somebody here who's greeting you, Jubet Magturo. Okay, so hi,
Thank you. Good
Patrice.
evening, Jubed.
Yeah, so he greeted you. And then, okay, so we talked about foods. Okay, so people nowadays like to go and, get coffee. So do you think that that's something that's agitating us, okay, when we drink coffee?
Yeah. Yes. So it's strange because until a year ago, I wasn't a coffee drinker, even though once in a while I really enjoyed coffee. And then this place next to our home has an amazing coffee from I think Indonesia. They even know the farmers. They select the beans. They even roast them. Amazing process. Delicious. However, it is proven that coffee, which actually, especially just black coffee, quality black coffee, has antioxidant properties. Is great to add a bit of energy when we need it. If we take more than necessary, and it becomes again like a kind of addiction, or like I need my coffee, otherwise I don't have the energy. It is proven that it's actually doing the exact opposite that liquids are supposed to bring. So we invite people to drink a lot of water. We invite people to drink green tea. They also contain, a bit of a caffeine, but we invite people to drink buko juice. That's probably one of the best, and especially out of the meals. You don't want to mix it with the digestion. But buko juice is probably one of the most amazing, healthiest drinks on the planet, and we have it quite abundantly here, which is a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually something that is extremely beneficial for the body because it's very alkaline.
I see.
And now science, and it's known again in certain ancient medicines like Chinese medicine, again, Ayurvedic Indian medicine, and other, ancient traditions, that when the body becomes more alkaline, our level of stress and tension naturally reduces. So I don't know if you've noticed, but when you hydrate yourself well throughout the day, 2-3 liters on average, of water, outside of the meals, again, you don't want to mix it too much with your digestion, then you will also greatly help your nervous system. You're going to lower that fire, that electricity that sometimes gets overheated. Often it's going to feel very restorative, after drinking an entire bottle like this several times throughout the day. Honestly, I feel much calmer. It works very, very well. And then what happens also is that my body functions better. So yes, we invite people in companies, go to the restroom more often. I know that means you have to take a break. Maybe it's not easy, but do it and hydrate yourself really well. And so it works wonders. Yes.
How about
And I'm sorry, the coffee has that property. It dehydrates the body.
yes.
Very strange. So it's doing just like with alcohol, without, of course, the side effects of alcohol that I'm sure all know, all experience, sometimes even enjoy. But the problem with alcohol, it greatly, greatly dehydrates the body. And also sodas, all these energy drinks, they're very unhealthy.
Ouch! I drink Coke Zero a lot.
Yeah, but it's not a client yet, and we've been discussing with them, and it's no one's fault, but it's a very unhealthy product. I'll be very clear about that. It's a very unhealthy product, and actually, that fake sugar has been replaced with saccharin, which is actually carcinogen. It dehydrates the body. It increases naturally the acidity of the body. Wow, me, I stay away from sodas, and I'm very happy. And I'm glad I'm not caught up in that. So no, I would really invite you to switch it with fresh juice, calamansi, lemon juice. Make yourself a nice, which also has amazing properties, fresh pineapple juice, or or a fresh watermelon or melon juice, but just calamansi with water. Oh, amazing, amazing properties, and actually very alkaline. Even though it seems acidic, it's not, not at
Oh,
all.
we calamansi juice. How about has have you been asked about stress eating? Like, okay, people are,
Uh,
when they're stressed and then they actually need too much on something.
yeah. So again, it's never a judgment because what I've been noticing, it's often going to be something very comforting. I've experienced it myself. I notice sometimes in very stressful, challenging periods, suddenly I have cravings that I never have before, like sugar, comfort food, overeating. But if I'm honest with myself, I realize that I don't feel better afterwards. I don't feel better. It's very temporary. So I would really invite people to, and again, do it in a very kind and gentle way, to start exploring things like and there's amazing body of knowledge online, and there are actually amazing doctors that have added that to their practice here in the Philippines. We have really great people to suggest. But if you really want to help yourself on stress level, if you're noticing that you're hiding very often, frustration, sadness, depression, old traumas that haven't been resolved, and you're hiding them in food, often by overeating, which is also basically when the body is getting bigger, it's also unconsciously, and this is something that is more and more found and understood, that it's also a protection mechanism. So I am not at all here to be unkind or judgmental with people who feel they
Mm-hmm.
are overweight, because it's often showing not just enjoyment. There's this Epicurean aspect of life that I understand very well, but when we do it too much, whatever it is, then there's it's showing something that is actually not we're not feeling that good.
Mm-hmm. So that's your those are your thoughts on stress eating. So I will just welcome somebody. Okay, so we have Miss May. Okay, hi May. So I'm just unmuting her. So hi May, how are you? So she's here. So she just entered the room.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Gandang
Welcome.
gabi. Good evening, May.
Good evening.
So how's your week?
Oh, very hectic and very stressful.
so so that's
Just
why
the
she
right topic for me.
so anyway, so Patrice, okay, so I actually was going to ask you, what was the most peaceful city that you've visited, and why was it peaceful, or why was it less stressful?
Um, Specific names, not necessarily. I fell in love with several cities, including San Francisco, where I was very lucky to live during a few years. But honestly, when you listen to people now living there, they're telling you, even though it's a beautiful environment, but it has become so expensive, so stressful, so this, so this, so that. But I must admit that smaller cities with an easier access to nature, with real parks. It's also something we don't have here, with a proper mass transit and transportation system, is something that we really, really all need as human beings. We really deserve, because life is already hard enough, especially for those of us, all those of us who are, working, and every day is not or every week is not a guarantee, it's not a sure thing, and everything. It would be actually, as residents of these big cities, it would be nice if all of us actually demanded a bit more to have environments that really have been created for us. So coming to Manila for me was a bit of a shock, especially before that period where everything kind of stopped, or just maybe we probably have no more than 10 or 20% of the usual flow of cars and people we used to have. But before that, it was an absolute nightmare. And toxicity in the air, lack of proper transportation, especially quality transportation. So people had to wait up in lines a lot for transportation that were very, very limited quality with absolutely no client service. And then, so also something very shocking for me is because, again, of the promoters who are absolutely, they never stop. Most of them cannot stop, even though they've land grabbed so many places around the country already. They haven't built proper green areas and parks for us. So the only thing they offer us are malls that are always, full of people and noise and sounds, which actually keep us even more agitated. And our nervous system, it's constantly under, honestly, under stress artificially. And life is already stressful enough. So yeah, that has been a discovery for me here. And I, of course, before living in Manila, I lived in Jakarta. I visited other big cities in China. So it's not a first, but these are not environments that have been properly designed for us, and that is not something acceptable. As human beings, we deserve better. Yeah.
You're on mute. You're on mute, Chris. Yeah.
So me, I think one of the best cities and actually less stressful was this. It actually is a province in Australia. It's called Wagga. So I visited that 2 years ago. So it was like, it had parks, okay. And then it had a lot of green spaces that you can jog, you can play frisbee. Frisbee, how very Australian. So so anyhow, okay. So why don't we? So do you have another exercise for
Yes.
us, Patrice?
So how much time do we have? And of course, I don't want to keep people overboard. And how much
Well,
time left do we have?
we have 8 minutes, and then we're going
Okay.
to ask everyone what they do to de-stress. Okay.
So, okay, I'm going to invite everyone again to make sure that you're sitting upright. So you're engaged, but it's comfortable, and we're going to hold this posture just a little bit more time, and we're going to do 3 simple practices in one exercise. So the first one, I'm going to invite. So once you're sitting upright, both feet again are flat on the floor, so you're not cross-legged. You're really fully present, grounded, strong in your body, present. I'm going to invite you to place a hand over and then close your eyes. Place a hand in the center of your chest, over your lungs. And this is called a breath check. So what we're going to do, and I'm going to take just a bit more time to explain what we want to look at, feel and notice. But from now on, if you haven't done so in the past, you'll be doing this in just 10 seconds, very fast. So regular breath check. So how am I breathing right now? What I want to look at, feel is, for example, am I using my lungs fully? And don't change anything. Simply observe how you are breathing right now. So am I using my lungs fully, or maybe I'm just using, 25%, 50% of my lung capacity? Just be very honest. Observe what's going on. How's my rhythm? Am I breathing really fast, quick, kind of short? Bit running after, oxygen and air all the time? Or am I allowing myself to take long, deep breath, when I'm not engaged, not active, not speaking? Am I breathing, in a proper, optimal way? Probably not for most. It's kind of short, it's fast, it's really upper part of the lungs. We're not using the lungs fully, but, if that's the case, wonderful. Something else also we want to look at is, am I using my nose? Or maybe combination of the nose and the mouth, or maybe mostly the mouth. Of course, if you have a cold or your nose is obstructed, naturally. Otherwise, the nose is really the main breathing organ. especially when we're in a quiet space like this, or walking, or we need to breathe through the nose. So now let's switch to abdominal breathing. So the hand that I have on my lungs, over my lungs, I'm going to bring down over the stomach, the abdomen, and we're all going to switch to abdominal diaphragmatic belly breathing. I'm sure most of you are familiar with one of the terms. So basically, we're going to slow down our breathing on purpose. And I'm going to invite you from now on to do it very often throughout the day, and before sleeping, and in the morning before jumping out of bed. Abdominal breathing for 2-3 minutes after just a short breath check to notice how you feel. And especially when you're very stressed, you stop and you do this practice for not just 1 minute, but 3, 4, 5 minutes. And if you really enjoy it, it can become a breathing exercise, short meditation, 10, 20 minutes. Focusing on the breathing and switching to abdominal breathing. So through the nose, making sure that we're breathing, this time we're really allowing the lungs to fill up fully. So 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds, whatever works for you. Take your time. And notice that when you reach that maximum, before, of course, hurting yourself, but you're noticing, yeah, now my lungs are really filled up fully. I'm using them to the bottom of the lungs. And notice also what happens as you do a few cycles. So practice and find whether you need 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds. And out through the nose, same amount of time. So really take your time to adjust it. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this, especially if you're practicing, sports, yoga, meditation. You know that already. And if not, so let's do this for 2 more minutes. We have just a bit of time. 2 more minutes. Abdominal breathing. So let's enjoy nice deep breath. And remember, when your mind is distracted, bring it back to the exercise as often as needed, very gently, very kindly. And notice also what happens to that hand that is over your stomach. It's probably moving a little bit, which is also another good sign. So 1.5 minutes left. So as you continue this practice, what I would like to share with you, because there's again abundant science, even though it's a very well-known ancient form of breathing, this has been discovered and agreed as to be the most optimal, natural, beneficial way of breathing. This is it. This is how we are supposed to be breathing throughout the day whenever, we're not caught up in intense sport or running because, short of breath, running to another place because we're late. When we are working, when we are mostly seated, when we are walking, at a nice pace, but just enjoying ourselves, unplugging, switch systematically back to abdominal breathing. If you're attending a conference and you're not the one speaking, abdominal breathing. And do this very often now, every 1-2 hours. Place your hand over your lungs, check your breath. Okay, I'm kind of short of breath. I'm not using my lungs. I'm going to slow down things. And I know you all know that because you felt it and you feel it if you have that kind of practice. It's going to modify, it's going to boost your immune system. It has many, many health benefits. It's going to quiet the mind very, very, in a very helpful and strong way. It's going to bring clarity. It's going to bring a restorative energy, energizing. It's going to help you center. It's going to lower that level of stress very organically. And the idea is not to force it or to fake it, not at all. So abdominal breathing. So one last short exercise. Let's express. So as you continue with the abdominal breathing, I'm going to invite you to express gratitude for yourself. So inwardly or out loud, just say to yourself, I'm grateful for being here today and taking the time. And basically taking the time to continue on taking better care of myself and really acknowledging how I feel. So feeling gratitude for myself. So now let's extend our gratitude to everyone on the call, everyone who's present now, and extending our gratitude to anyone who will listen and participate again in this session afterwards. And then let's extend our gratitude to everyone in the HR Shouts and Whisper community. So I believe it's several thousand people. Of course, most we don't know, so let's extend our gratitude to everyone. Let's extend our gratitude to everyone in the Philippines, on all the island, who's pretty much going through the same challenging experiences as we are. Extending our gratitude to the neighboring countries, all the people in the neighboring countries, and extending our gratitude to everyone on the planet, all the people, the animals, including nature, the plants. And then coming back to ourselves, our sender, taking our time, opening our eyes slowly. I'm sorry, I'm a bit over time, but so gratitude also exercise meditation is a very powerful, and I will also join again Luigi on what he said. When we focus on positive and especially gratitude and focusing on the things actually for which we can bring a solution, there's a solution. It's very important. It's a very it's a wonderful way to rewire the brain, rewire our nervous system to become stronger and more resilient.
So let's ask our guest here how they felt. Okay, so let's talk to May. So how did you feel, May?
Hello. The exercise I was it was not a different. I attended a yoga session previously, and something similar like this was our practice also. So it it just refreshed me, or it just reminded me of a previous exercise that I hasn't been practicing for a long while. So maybe I should start doing this, and it felt very very good actually.
Oh, that's good. We're glad that you it elevated what you were feeling. So because she was during the week she was expressing some stress. Okay, so I well
Yeah, so many things happen because of the unfortunate passing away of relatives. So that was very very stressful for us. So that's the cause most probably.
uh,
Yes. And the thing is, so of course, our best thoughts to you. And the thing is, it accumulates. So we keep on taking these, difficult events and challenges, and they accumulate and they build up in the body. And the body actually has an amazing faculty among many others, and one of them is memory. So all the good moments, but also all the challenging and the sad ones and the very stressful ones, they accumulate in the body. There's a real memory, and we need to help the body release that. We cannot pretend that it's not there. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work.
Yeah, that's true. I was trying to really ignore it. The feeling. I acknowledge your statement that it is accumulating. It really is the instances and the events. It really is getting into you one by one.
Well, anyway, May, that will, I hope that things get better. And then how about Michelle? Michelle, how was your week? I mean, I think you've been dealing with a lot of things also. So how was this exercise, this final exercise?
Yeah, so as I've mentioned earlier, I felt like it was kind of relaxing, right? But um, with this exercise, I mean, this last exercise, I really felt like there's a sense of, or I felt like it's very calming. It's calming in a way that I also acknowledge the fact that it is not only helping our breathing, but same with our brain. So for me, it is a really huge impact for us to, to take a look into this whenever we start the day. Because if ever that maybe if we are for me if we are stressed, we are looking into our plate only, like we have a lot of stress, we have so much in our plate, but instead of us focusing on those worries or anxiety, this kind of exercises, if you will allow yourself and just for a few minutes, it will impact your daily life. So it is very important. So I would really like to say thank you, Miss Tina and Patrice and the rest of the team, because um, I was reminded that this is very important. It will affect our daily life and our decision, our attitude towards our goals. So there, it's calming, and it is very important. Another learning, and I have another reminder for myself too. Aside from prayer, I mean, this is very important, and I'm very happy that I was reminded tonight.
The,
So
to stop and then just, pause
yes.
and then maybe savor the moment. Okay, so that's a very good piece of advice. Anyway, okay, so we are about to end our session, but let's go around with Ken and Luigi. So, guys, do you have also anything to add to, reduce stress for our viewers?
Yeah, sure. We could Luigi could go first. Yeah, you're on mute. Yep. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, with regards to that, if you want to manage stress, what I could just add is like what I mentioned earlier. Choose what you're focusing on, and make sure it's something that's relaxing, something that's wonderful, something that's gonna make you feel good, something that's like something that you love, something that you cherish. So make sure if ever you need to focus on something, it would be those kind of things, and just enjoy what it will bring you. Yeah.
Okay. For me, I'm always an advocate of some practice like neurolinguistic programming and hypnosis, hypnotherapy. Get to, but right now I use some different vibrations. I go to Spotify. So when I sleep nowadays, I just look for a playlist. It's called Deep Sleep. You could search it there. It helps me sleep better at night. I mean, even though I have like 4 hours, 5 hours sleep, it's like still better. Adding this background sound when I sleep. Other things like what Patrice said, drink juices would also be nice. Water, of course, very very important. Other things that I get to work on with clients is one thing that we love to do: mind dump. So we usually dump everything that we could actually, the first thing that comes to mind, write it down until everything just like it's clear, right? Doing meditation, guided meditation really works. Um, One other thing that you could do is ask yourself questions. I mean, if you get to like get in connect with yourself by asking yourself these specific questions, you could probably get to clarity much faster. because sometimes the problem with stress is we haven't yet identified what really stresses us out. So there's the feeling there, okay, but it's not clear for the person what's the root of the stress. So if we get to like find that root, okay, it gets easier for us to actually address it. So there are a lot of ways to actually work with it. We address it or just we leave it be, right? That's but there are lots of different approaches again for each and everyone. There are like different approaches for each and everyone. That's why we don't really much recommend one thing, a general
Yeah.
approach
So
for
there are
everything.
different
Yeah,
techniques actually.
a
So
lot. Yeah.
like yes. So and then what Patrice also said, like, okay, so there's always like fire, okay, and then agitation. So what I do actually, I've actually had this habit already of tuning out, well, yeah, 2 hours away from Facebook, okay, when I'm about to sleep. So I watch a movie, but lately on Netflix, there are a lot of zombie movies. So I'm not sure if that's relaxing. So, oh, Ashen of the North. Okay, so so I was watching that. And then, but before I do sleep, I actually tried to do this is actually a small journal. So this is a journal. I put a lot of like my thank yous, okay? Like thank you for today, okay? Okay. Especially like I'm able to go out and buy ink, buy fountain pen ink, okay? So that's what I do. So I have this small notebook, okay? I also put like I don't really put like a grudge list anymore. I just say positive things in this notebook. And I have I'm going this one. This is like something that I do. So it's actually sentangling. So I just do this. So because sometimes when my mind is working at night, okay, I can't sleep. So that's what I do. So there. So how about you, Patrice? Okay, aside from your techniques, okay. So what do you listen to or watch on Netflix?
So I do. I don't exercise like fully, but I walk every day. I really walk quite a lot. I have some activities that I need to have that contact with the outside, with nature, with the sun. Very important. In terms of food, that also helps. We are mostly, well, me, I am mostly, my partner is fully, but I am mostly vegetarian. I avoid foods, especially when I'm very stressed out. I avoid food that are going to fuel that fire, because this is something also that is very well known in, again, in that Ayurvedic medicine is we have different elements in the body, so fire, water, and air. And the fire is a good indication if by nature I'm someone who's quite nervous and
Mm.
fiery. So it's often useful, but when it's too much, it burns. It's really detrimental. And it happens to all of us. And people might not see it at first, especially in the younger years, or when, everything is great, everything's exciting and everything. But if you're always on that fire and you never stop, or you don't balance it, and sometimes, find that, then actually that fire becomes quite detrimental, and it starts burning a lot of stuff. So useful as well in the food to really eat, for example, fresh fruits, fresh salad, fresh juices, because that reduces the fire. Drinking a lot of water, very helpful. Yeah, definitely unplugging from. I do enjoy action thrillers and things like that, but what I've noticed is when I keep my mind too caught up in that before sleeping, then it's not going to help me for the night at all. It's going to do the exact opposite, and then it's going to keep me awake, and then I'll have thoughts that are so not helpful. So reading a good book before sleeping, that really helps. And usually, even if the topic is fascinating, within 15-30 minutes, I'm tired. I want to go to
Mhm.
sleep. So that's a good way of putting myself to sleep. And very rightfully, Ken, what you were suggesting is because everything sounds are vibration, and a part of us is actually an electromagnetic field, and we are vibration. So when we connect with music that is very soothing, very soft, classical music, beautiful, meditation music, certain gong, bells, whatever resonates for us, then actually it's going to help us relax. And so we need to take that into account. And just like we did when we did these short exercise, what we feel when things become calmer, and this has been more and more measured by science, it's called brainwave. So when we slow down our brainwave, when we help it, especially from being very active to just about to sleep, the brain needs to be helped also and brought to that. Except again, if you're a very lucky person and you're able to sleep very well in all conditions, then good for you. You're very lucky. I need to prepare for my sleep. Yeah.
Oh well. So that's like self-care, okay? And then well, we promise people this is not going to be a lecture, it's more experiential. So thank you, Patrice. Okay, so where
Yeah.
can they contact you if they want to book a session with you or talk about or ask your about your programs?
So very kind of you. So our programs at the moment is really for groups and organizations. So we have been working only with many kinds of companies and organizations. So we really enjoy that, connecting with a lot of people. Our website is called mindfulnessatplay.com, and very happy to connect this way. And yes, thank you again for your kind and warm and professional welcome, all of you.
Well, we would like to see more of you. Okay, if there are like some feedback or people will request for another topic about stress management, then we will have another session. How about you, Michelle and May? So, how will you now greet the incoming week? So, with a
Uh,
smile, with a smile.
yeah, with a smile, actually practicing this routine, making these exercises as part of your day already. So yeah, and just think positive, more positive thoughts most probably, and stop watching news because it's very stressful
Yes.
nowadays. Yeah, we have in Laguna it's already ECQ, so it's very stressful here also. So stop watching the news. My husband keeps telling me stop watching the news.
Well, I actually don't. I just scan through the news now. I don't really, really watch it like before. I just scan through it. So, how about you, Michelle?
Yes, for me, so since it's already ECQ, um, I have my self care kasi if I listen to music, something like that. But now I will add the pause strategy, like what Patrice mentioned, stopping or pausing, and then you just have to reflect and think about or relax. So I will add that to my routine.
Okay, thank you, Michelle, and of course, our very handsome gentlemen, Ken and Luigi. Okay, so any webinars, upcoming webinars from you guys?
Luigi.
Handsome.
Luigi. Yeah, Luigi.
Yeah, ikaw na, Ken. Ikaw na.
Yeah, upcoming for those friends that would always be interested to be certified, a certified NLP practitioner. One of our good friends from Singapore will be doing an international NLP certification this coming September. So if you want to use that, add that to your repertoire as a coach, as a trainer, let us know. Message me, Luigi or Cristina. We'd be glad to assist you with that. Yeah. For me, I'm just doing lots and lots of crypto and investing for the meantime. And yeah, that's it.
So yeah, well, that's like a busy week. And then
It is.
and then for those who are looking for work, okay, so you can visit the website of Remote Staff. Okay, so that's where I work, and we have a lot of openings for those who are, who would want to, have VA work, or if you're a website developer, and if you just want to, have work from home arrangement, so visit Remote Staff. And then, okay, we will have upcoming coaching seminars here on HR Shouts and Whispers. So stay tuned for our announcement.
Next week, Chris. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Q&A.
August 14. So we have our direct Q&A. Okay, so May is part of that. So for those who are interested, you can get in touch with me. Okay, so that's 999 per session. Okay, so it's anything and everything about HR. Okay. Yes. Okay. So if you are, if you have an employee relations problem, training problem, anything. Okay. So there.
Yeah. All right. Right.
Okay. So Patrice, thank you for
Thank you so much.
saying yes to us. And that was a wonderful,
Very kind of you. Thank you.
yes.
Thank you.
And
Thank
then, and guys, you know where to get in touch with Patrice. Okay. So Mindfulness at Work. And we have that on our announcement where the website. Okay.
All right.
And so it was a wonderful Saturday, and it's time to eat dinner. Okay, just don't eat those foods that actually encourage the fire in you. Okay, but maybe just drink a little water. Okay,
Alright.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
Salamat.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Patrice.
All the
And May,
best.
Luigi.
Thank you.
Night,
Thank you.
Cristina.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Why don't you upskill in the comforts of your own home? Improve and add more certificates in your resume. Simple, direct, easy. Visit the playlist in our YouTube channel. Browse through our videos and choose the video that interests you. Send in your requests for a particular video, and we will send back the certificate via email. Watch this full video for the details.